What the fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
Welcome to Preach Care Preach with Rashad. Here in an episode, another sermon coming at you from 12 Ounce Sports Radio, Zingo TV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere else you can find us. Welcome to the show, man. What's going on, Rashad?
What it do, man? Shoot, we went on yesterday, so April Fools to everybody who participated in that. Right now ain't the time to be making April Fools jokes, but if you did, shout out to y'all for hopefully you had a happy April's Fools, and let's hope April is a better month than we had in March, because March was crazy. It was madness, but it went for college basketball. I know that.
You ain't never lie. You ain't never told no lie on that one.
They say true. You ain't never told no lie.
Hey, but for real though, it's kind of fun and creative to come up with different things now when it's not sports going on, and you have to let's find this and let's do something with the draft not too far away. Let's come up with some ideas and let's put on a good show. So that's what we did.
Mock draft coming soon.
My draft coming soon. My 3.0, I'm working on it. It will be out soon enough. First, I kind of want to get into AB first. We saw him working out with Hollywood Brown, his cousin, and Lamar Jackson. Is this something to you, or does it mean nothing?
It's nothing, man. He has so much legal stuff going on right now. It's gonna be hard for AB to get back into the league. We know the Bucks were saying they wanted to get he was being considered to be on the Bucks, but Arians decided not to do it. So for right now, we know that AB is going to be basically jobless as far as the NFL goes. Tom Brady's good words couldn't get into Tampa Bay. And even though he has a relative on Baltimore, I think it's nothing. But it would be a great situation if you can have Hollywood and AB together. Lamar Jackson with the strides he made last year throwing to him, I was a non-believer, but you give anybody AB, I think they can become a perennially elite quarterback. But just as far as right now, as of today, I think it's nothing. But it would be nice to see AB back in the league, especially on Baltimore with him being a former Steeler.
Yeah, I would actually. I think it's something to a degree. I know the Ravens won't sign him, probably not. But think about wow, Baker Mayfield gets to have OBJ, gets to have Landry, gets to have Austin Hooper now, and Njoku, and Chubb, and Josh Allen gets Stephon Diggs this offseason.
Hey, Kareem Hunt got tagged, and he's still there too.
Right, and you got Kareem Hunt. Even more reason to when's Lamar Jackson going to get his weapons? I mean, he got Hollywood Brown, he got Mark Andrews, but is that enough? And when Mark Ingram aging out, if they don't get a running back in this draft, we may see that or not. But it's we can't continue to keep drafting guys, because what if they never blossom to a superstar? Right, because Andrews is good and Hollywood Brown is good when healthy, but it's is that enough? And I don't know. So I think AB could be a very, very I say to me he's not a high risk, because it's not like they need him. It's not like it's a team that's desperate for weapons. Because Lamar Jackson is the ultimate weapon in himself. It's we don't need all that. But if he comes in and play not even let's say he's not even 100%. Let's say he's 85 of AB from Pittsburgh. That's good enough. For his 85 is better than most 100% for guys. So I think that it could mean something. I don't know why Lamar and Hollywood wouldn't be on the front office to the GM hey, AB, calm down, blah blah. If the NFL allow him, I think we should get him.
Yeah, even if he was to get signed, hypothetically, we'll say he does get signed. We'll say that, the charges, the situations, all that get sped up. The NFL says, hey, we'll suspend you for 4 to 6 games, something like that. Having AB for any stretch of time is better than no AB.
Right.
If you can get AB, you get AB. I don't care what anybody says. He's in my opinion, the most dominant receiver of his era. Him and Julio, they're 1-2, how we look at it, 1A, 1B. I'm on the AB side, but I can't
Team
knock him
Julio.
out who does choose. Yeah, I can't knock him out who does choose Julio because he's gonna be one of the legendary receivers of not just this time, but of all time as well. Like he could probably vault up to 3, 4, or 5, So, but between him and AB, they're best of their generation, and the next generation I would consider that like the Mike Thomases and whoever else you want to pair with him. But man, if you can get AB on your team, you get AB.
You got to do it. And I don't know how much he would cost, but like I said, it's very for the Ravens, for a team who went 14-2 last season, is very low risk and definitely high rewards. You need another word for high, like a bigger word for that, because this where you need to go. And like I said, with Lamar Jackson and with Hollywood Brown another year, Andrews another year, this team can use it. And you can't go out here and just keep drafting receivers every single year. At some point, you have to bring somebody in and to speed along the process and keep you at the top, because Pittsburgh defense, Pittsburgh Big Ben is back. They're coming around the corner.
Yeah, Pittsburgh might need to make a move though, because Big Ben only got 1, maybe 2 more good years left in the tank. So they might need to go do something else to make sure that they can stay. Yeah, they might have to go make a move to make sure they can stay competitive, because having Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph did not pan out well.
Don't even get me started by Mason and Duck. Oh my God, Duck was so bad they had to bring Mason back in. That's how bad it was.
Terrible. Atrocious.
Man. Also, the ESPN did a poll for best college basketball player ever. Now, we take best college basketball player ever. The guy who won, Michael Jordan, in my opinion, does not come to mind. Like, it don't even enter my mind.
Not for college.
Not for college. Like, you hit it with basketball, Michael Jordan should be the first person to come in your head. But college basketball, no way. Don't know how he won it. Do not get it. Do not understand it. And the correct answer, everybody should mostly agree, is probably Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like,
oh yeah, man. I don't know who voted on this poll, but the wrong answer. Yeah, I can't even say teenagers, man, because they would have probably voted Zion.
Yeah, you're right.
I can't even say teenagers, man. Like, I guess people who just go off of the name of Michael Jordan, they voted for him. But when it comes to college ball, the impact Kareem had, the resume he put together, he's undoubtedly the best college player of all time.
Yeah, and I don't think it's close. Two losses in 3 years, 3 championships.
Yeah, they were like 88-2, I think. Come on, man.
He put
that's unheard of.
Who came first? Kareem, and then once Kareem left, Bill Walton arrived. So it's like they UCLA. That's why they're, I would say, one of the original, the founding father of the Blue Bloods, in my opinion. Yeah, Kentucky right there too, but man. Kareem did for college basketball. I think didn't they ban dunking because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for a while?
Yeah, this is where Sky Hook came from.
Yeah, he learned Sky Hook. Hey, did you see the clip about Wilt Chamberlain versus Kareem, and Wilt Chamberlain blocked him twice and Kareem didn't know what to do? I thought that was pretty funny.
Yo, Wilt
vintage,
is an underrated, funny dude. Like, if Wilt was around right now in the social media era, bro, he'll be crazy. Like, not crazy in a bad way. Like, he'll be like hella funny. He was hella charming, hella charismatic just from like interviews and stuff I've seen of him. So if Wilt was around in social media age right now, Wilt would be the man. He was the man back then.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into our recap of our Twitter poll we put up. So we talk about college basketball. We talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being the best college basketball player. But what about freshmen? We put up a poll on Twitter. Which freshman trio is the best? So we got the champions. Anthony Davis 2012, Carmelo Anthony in 2003, and Jahlil Okafor in 2015. And then you have the stars who didn't win, but you got Zion last year, Kevin Durant for Texas in 2007, and Michael Beasley, that dog of a monster, in 2008 for Kansas State. The Twitter poll was 54%, I believe, went to Anthony Davis, Melo, and Jahlil Okafor, the champions, while the 46% went to the stars. Now, who did you vote?
Oh, I went with the champions, man, because you know I don't believe rings are everything. But when you look at what Melo in '03, AD in 12, and Jaleel in 15, when you look at what they completely put together,
Right.
they were the most dominant. No, if not for them, they probably would have won those titles because those guys put together a dominant season and it led to a championship. So, I mean, you got to get those guys the nod because all those guys were freshman of the year. AD won basically every award
Everything.
you can think of in college basketball. Jaleel, he basically accomplished everything a freshman could accomplish as well. Plus, he was, I think, second in the Player of the Year vote. He lost to Frank Kaminsky. And what did he do to get revenge? They beat Wisconsin in the championship. So, I mean, all three of those guys, they took full circle runs, and of course, they won the title. So, I vote for those guys.
And I'm with you. We talking about it's not even like that they led the team, but when did you see it's so rare that freshmen can be the lead person and take your team to the finals, to the final four and win it all actually. Now, yes, I think everything's a little different. Everything's a little skewed because we talk about Jahlil Okafor how he won everything, but it's like they was a big story. Yeah, there was a big story, and Wisconsin won. I mean, they played Wisconsin, but like, I think that Kentucky team that year was more talked about because that was their first loss in the Final Four to Wisconsin, and everybody wanted to see that matchup, Duke Kentucky. We never get what we want to see, but it's like I feel like that team was more memorable for that season. But that's what made everybody forget Jahlil Okafor and forget Justice Winslow because honestly, that team. When you say that team now, looking into the NBA, you be like, how did they win? And I think that's why the voting was so close actually because I don't really think people forget how great like Melo and AD was, and when you add Okafor, you be like, okay, well, you know, when you look at college, you guys keep it separate because just like the Michael Jordan, he won best college player of the year because of Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Like you can't separate one from the other. I mean, okay, so what? Jaleel didn't pan out as the third pick in the NBA. Right. What he did his 1 year in college, that was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. What Melo did, I mean, of course, you know, I think it's natural that you want to associate the NBA stuff with it, but it's not the same. Like college is college, the NBA is NBA. Christian Laettner is one of the greatest college players ever, but NBA wise, he was just an okay guy.
Okay, right.
Grant Hill, Grant Hill's one of those rare guys who was good at both levels. Jay Williams, he was great in college, player of the year, all that kind of stuff. But, motorcycle accident in his NBA career, so you don't remember him for that. So you got to keep it separate.
Yeah, and Okafor was a beast. I mean, and like I said, it's because that he wasn't so great in NBA that his poll was so close like it was. I mean, 54 to 46. I actually thought that people would choose the stars more just because of Zion and KD, and because of KD greatness, and because Zion is like the new shiny toy that everybody gets to look at. Like I feel like that's why I thought people was trending toward the stars. Beasley, like, I mean, Melo started off by having the most doubles as a freshman, and then Beasley came and like, I think it's different when you look at the rest of them because Melo's at Syracuse, Djimbe Howard, legendary. Davis had Calipari. Probably at the time wasn't as legendary, but we knew Calipari for greatness of UMass, putting Memphis on the map, stuff like that. Coach K speaks for itself. The Longhorns, I mean, it was Texas. Texas is just Texas, right? You can't really deny it. And Zion, Okafor, same school. And it's like Beasley put Kansas State on the map. And like it was who you going to choose that season. Everybody was like, oh, Kansas State going to the Final Four. They're going to win the championship because of Michael Beasley. And that's how great his impact was. So, I mean, all six of these guys, man, like you talking about immediate superstardom. Like I am kind of mad that Beasley didn't really pan out, but we know other issues for him happened in his life. But he was supposed to be great too. If you had to peg someone to be a superstar, Beasley was guy, especially following the KD. You think okay, another like he might not be KD, but it's like he's 6'10", he can do this, he can put the ball on the floor, get to the basket, bang with the big boys, go out to the perimeter. And we know our motto is the wings win rings. I would have lost that one because I'd put all my money on him.
Like I believe the Beasley thing just didn't pan out because drafting is so important, man. Like where a guy lands and starts his career, man, that can set you up for success or failure. Because if let's say you already have like a shaky work ethic or something like that, and I'm not saying
Right.
just about Mike Beasley. I'm just saying in general. What if you have a shaky work ethic, and then now you go to a bad team, which most teams drafting at the top are bad. At some point, I mean, you're gonna be losing. What you can be winning 22 games a year. At some point, you will become disengaged, not work hard. You're guaranteed once you sign your contract after you drafted, you're basically a millionaire. So what incentive do you really have to work hard anymore? But if you go to, if you're shoot a freaking Steph Curry, you fall to the Warriors, then like, you got work ethic because you had to go to Davidson. You wanted to make it to the league, and then now, in basically in 2 years, you fight through your injuries, the team turns around, and before you know it, a couple of years later down the line, you're an NBA champion, stuff like that. So
Right.
what you get drafted at always plays a big part. I'm not really a big what if guy, but we all know Steph Curry would not be the Steph Curry he is now if he goes to Minnesota. So I mean, even with his great work ethic,
Yeah.
you in Minnesota, man, you won't be the same.
I don't think he would have been as great as he is now, but it's like okay with Kevin Love and Rubio. I think he would. I don't think we would classify him as a point guard. We definitely wouldn't do that because I think he would have played an off ball too, and he would have been like in the Lou Wills of the world, but a star version. You know what I mean? Like a star version of Lou Wills. So I mean, you're right. It does matter where you go. Situation always matters, no matter what sport you're in. We had this debate with some people about.
But yeah, shout out Mike Beasley though, man.
Yeah, where is he, Michael Beasley? He was on the Lakers last year, but be back to China or something to turn up or something because that's what he was hooping at before. I don't know.
And look, think about who we left off, man. We could have put Greg Golden on the stars list. We could have put Trae Young, like some other guys who had good freshman years too.
Trae Young, Greg Oden. That's some good names. We had this argument with some guys about Anthony Davis. I just want to answer this question real quick. So out of the guys we named, so Kevin Durant averaged 26 points a game. Beasley averaged 26. Zion was averaging 23 and 9 rebounds. Okafor 17 and 9. Melo 22 and 10, dominating. All these guys were dominating, right? Now, Anthony Davis. What's the difference between Anthony Davis and the rest of these guys? He only averaged 14 points a game, 10 rebounds, but he also averaged 5 blocks. Now, most people say, in my opinion, out of these 6, in my opinion, Anthony Davis had the most impact across the board. And yes, he only averaged 14.
Oh yeah, easily, man.
Right. He averaged 14
I mean,
points.
he had to score 25 to have impact.
Right, exactly. And that's what a lot of people gotta realize, like, it ain't all about scoring. In college basketball, those guys I just named, KD, Beasley, Zion, Melo, and Okafor, those are outliers as far as scoring at premier like programs. Like usually you go to Duke, you don't score, 14 points, you might be leading scorer for the team. So those guys are exceptional, of course. But like Anthony Davis, 14 points a game, he only took 8 shots. So I wanted to see that everybody realized that if Anthony Davis took the shots that other guys took, this would be his stats. If he took the same amount of shots as Kevin Durant and Michael Beasley, so Beasley and Kevin Durant was around like 17, 18 shots a game. Shooting his same shooting percentage for Anthony Davis, he would average 26 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks. If he just shot as many as they did. For Zion, it'd be 20, and then for Okafor, it'd be 18 points per game. So he could do it, but we all know Calipari's system is about sacrifice, putting your team first, being a team guy, working on team defense. That's what he does because you look at all the guys, you're like, man, Devin Booker, Cat averaged like 10 points a game at Kentucky, like, and now he's one of the best big men in the league. So it's not like they can't do it. It's about what you asked to do at the time. And even in the championship game with Anthony Davis, dude didn't do anything as far as scoring. I think he had like 6 points, but he had like 15, 16 rebounds, 5 or 6 blocks, 4 steals. Like you can't ask for somebody to be more dominant. And if you can do it without scoring, that makes you great in my opinion.
Yeah, because if they did dumb it down to him, he could have got 20 if needed. I mean, but that's just
Right.
the Calipari way. I mean, he was he was basically pioneering the like recruiting one and done guys. So of course he's gonna have a platoon system when you bring, you know, you're recruiting 5 to 7 one and dones. Plus you still have 2 to 3 guys who are gonna be sophomores and juniors looking to take their step up. So I mean that's why you don't see AD getting 20. You don't see Boogie Cousins getting 20. You don't see Cat getting 20. You don't see Devin Booker getting 20. Nerlens Noel didn't average 20. I mean, just I can get going. Willie Collins, Trey Lyles, like all these NBA Jamal Murray, all these NBA guys could average 20 if they were just the sole focus of the offense. But that's not how it works. He put in a platoon system. I mean, the Harrison guys, Aaron and Andrew. I mean, it is so many guys that were on these Kentucky teams. There's no way you can feed everybody and let somebody average 20. It's a platoon system. Sacrifice for your brother, make each other better, and let's win together. That's all Cal has preached for. I mean, for decades at this point.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we're gonna go to a quick commercial break real quick, and then we're gonna come back with with some lists, and we're gonna break them down for y'all.
You just made the list.
That's what's needed to get to that next level. I'm Rob Pennell, and I'm going to teach you how to be an offensive machine.
All right, we back. So we're going to get into our list. Our list of lists. You got we're gonna do what Rashad want to do, what I want to do, and we're gonna get right into it. Rashad. So yeah, I had to make sure you was back. We all good. Little difficulties, but it's all good. We all good. All right. So the first list we're gonna go into is sticking kind of with the college theme. Normally, this is the time that Final Four is around, so we're going to do the best college hoopers. All right. The reason for this list, well, we could have done lifetime of the decade all time, but we're gonna do it in our lifetime. So Rashad, I think I'll just go first on it. If we starting at 5, I'm gonna say Jimmy Fredette. For me, who you have at 5?
I didn't really do a complete order.
Okay.
But one of my 5, I have Christian Laettner.
Okay. Okay. So I kind of, I guess ranking it. I mean, you can rank it how you want to, but I also had Zion, Kemba Walker, Anthony Davis, and I had Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott from Creighton.
Yeah, I had Christian Laettner as one of them. Anthony Davis, as mentioned, because of his dominance throughout. So that's 2. I also went, he's forgotten about, but I went Adam Morrison for what he did at Gonzaga. And then I also had, of course, Carmelo Anthony. And then the last one, what we just talked about this guy, the way he did. I went Michael Beasley, and that was a tough choice, but because I was leaning Emeka Okafor. But, man, just as a freshman, what Mike Beasley did, and of course, I mentioned what Melo did, I went those 2 guys along with the others. So those are my 5 right there. Laettner, AD, Adam Morrison, Melo, and Mike Beasley.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I put McDermott, I mean, for Creighton, is like he was so good in the I think Missouri Valley Conference. And then he was so good when they went to the Big East. He was better, and I think he won Player of the Year one of these years, and he played with his dad, of course, as the coach. I went Kemba. I mean, his dominance through the conference tournament, biggest conference tournament, and what he did to go win a championship. All those played a big role to me. Jim Fredette, another small school guy, and his dominance as well in college basketball for his 4 years there. And we talk about Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis is probably the best player I've ever seen in college in my lifetime. and that was just because of across the board impact. It's not one thing he couldn't do, even if Calipari told you to sacrifice.
Yeah, man. AD, man, what he did was remarkable as a freshman. I mean, he was still somewhat raw,
Right.
but like you could see like the potential is there. Defensively, he was an anchor, and if needed, he could bomb you for 22 and 15 in college.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. Like, and usually, I don't really like small guys, but it's like in college basketball, if you had an elite point guard, Kemba Walker, Jimmer, I mean, the list goes on. Michigan State always got an elite point guard somewhere. Kansas always got one. You usually find yourself going deep, and when you have the seniors and the juniors like Kemba and Jimmer, you go far. Steph Curry, when he hit his rise, So if you had an elite point guard in college, usually you can go far. I do like your Michael Beasley pick. I think that's a pretty good one. Of course, like Zion. I just think Zion, man, was just a man amongst boys, I guess, and that's what kind of like impressed me the most. That I thought, okay, he just doing this against little high school boys. This don't really count. And then he did the exact same thing to all these college guys. Like, well, never mind then. When you 6'6" and 280, it don't matter what level you at, I guess.
Yeah, like I was considering Zion as well, but I just went to Michael Beasley because, like we said earlier when we were talking about our poll, man, this dude went to Kansas State and balled the heck out, man. So
Definitely.
I took Mike Beasley. Like I consider Emeka Okafor. He won a championship with UConn back in 2004. He had a stellar year, so I consider Emeka Okafor as well. But I mean, Mike Beasley, a freshman, doing what he did, man. He did everything except make the Final Four and win the championship pretty much.
I like your Adam Morrison pick. A lot of people do forget Adam Morrison. I get because once again he was a bust in the NBA. I mean, that was before he put Gonzaga on the map, bro. He put Gonzaga on the map.
Like they were always pretty good, but like what he was doing, him and JJ Redick battle for like player of the year that season, man.
JJ Redick,
like you said, in the NBA, his career.
Oh, I forgot about JJ Redick. That's a great one too. That's a bad white boy right there.
That was just a great year of college ball right there. But I think people forget about Morrison because he's so far out west. Gonzaga's that's in Washington pretty much. A lot of people don't see them play. Yeah, you don't really see them play unless they come on late at night. NCAA tournament wise, they haven't won a title, stuff like that. And then, of course, NBA-wise, people always try to lump that in, so Morrison gets forgotten about. And, he did have a few health issues and stuff like that, so that kind of hurt him. And then, he was drafted to Charlotte, which didn't pan out. And
Bobcats, that wasn't it.
Yeah, so, I thought he was a talented dude. But I guess, just his game just didn't translate to the NBA level, which it happens, but he had, with what he did in college, he can make money off of making appearances his whole life because he's Adam Morrison.
Hey, that's good enough for me. Now we had another Twitter poll that went on Monday, and it was about Cam Newton. Where should he go? What is the best spot? Now the four options I put. All right, so the Redskins, we talked about it. The Raiders, we talked about it, and the Patriots. The Patriots won convincingly, 48%. Raiders had 28%. The Redskins had 21%. And the fourth option I put, and I kind of want to hear your thoughts on my reason, and Cam Newton as the backup for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the reason I put this on there is because, okay, we talked about how the market may be slim pickings, which is really only New England Patriots or nothing at this point. And the reason why I said Seattle Seahawks, because we know for the Seattle Seahawks, I think what we always say to each other is Russ or bust most of the time. Like the roster, you got Bobby Wagner, of course. You had Clowney. You got Metcalf, who's a star. Tyler Lockett, he's a star. But it's like Russell Wilson does a lot of covering up, in my opinion, to Seattle as far as their weakness, because he's so great. They can still overcome a lot of stuff, even in a tough division. And the reason I say that because if you put let's say Cam go to the Bills behind Josh Allen. If Josh Allen messes up, how long before you think the Bills fans come, we want Cam? How long do you think that would happen? Like every game almost? like because that's how polarizing Cam Newton is. So I was like, well, if you go to Minnesota behind Kirk Cousins, same thing. Even if you go to Cowboys behind Dak, the same thing. Like most places, unless it's Kansas City, Bucks for Brady's concern, and Seattle, Ravens, and I would say Texans. Those guys that are he can't take their spots because they are too special. I think he has to go to a team like that. I kind of said this thing way back when with Colin Kaepernick. The same reason, like he ain't go behind Russ and play and show he can be a backup because then the media would never question, oh, Russell Wilson versus Cap. They would never do that. And I can say the same thing for Cam Newton to go to Seattle. And I was like, well, if Russ was to go down, we don't wish injury on people, but if Russell Wilson was to go down, Seattle is done. Do you agree to that? Like without Russell Wilson, they're not.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. You got. I think Russ is him, Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, top 3 QBs in the league. So you lose a top 3 QB in the league.
That's it.
Man, your season's supposed to tank.
You're supposed to be sorry. So, and like I said, I think Packers and Chiefs have a better roster to if they lost Mahomes. What they did, Chiefs lost Mahomes for a while and still was okay. The Packers may not be a good team anymore, but they won't be the worst team in the league. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Seattle roster, and I'm just thinking like. If Russ was to go down, having Cam Newton there, that could resurface his everything about him, and he can get a job just like that.
Well, I mean, hypothetically, if that was to happen, which I hope it doesn't, because I love seeing Russ play. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I don't think it would work out good for Cam because I don't think he's as good as Russ.
Right.
So I don't think he could cover up for the errors or things that Russ covers up. And just, realistically, Seattle wouldn't bring Cam in because they're focused on spending their money on improving their weapons and their defense, stuff like that. They can't afford to go try to trade for Cam, who's making, I think $20-something million. So they can't afford to go trade him. Of course, if he was cut, that's a little bit different. But even then, I think he would try to negotiate decent money. Of course, he wouldn't take less than somebody like Marcus Mediocre's taking. So he'll want decent money to even be a backup. So at this point, it's New England or the Chargers. I think both are out on him. I don't think Belichick. He'll take a chance on the guy, but I don't think he's going to risk his season on Cam Newton. I think they'll roll with Stidham, or they may do something for Andy Dalton, or they may just go draft the guy and roll with that. So I don't think he's going to be on the New England radar because what Cam does doesn't really fit what Josh McDaniels does. So I can't see that happening. And plus, we don't even know if we're going to have football. So with, OTAs and training camp possibly being limited, you wouldn't even have time to get this guy ingratiated into the offense. So I wouldn't advocate for either one of those moves. It's just going to be Carmelo Anthony 2.0, except it's going to be
football
NFL.
version. Yeah, football version.
Sit out the year, sit out a couple of weeks.
And hope and wait.
See what materializes. But, I mean, as far as just starting the year as a QB, as a starting opening day starting QB, that ain't happening this year.
I don't see it. So, with that being said, and the reason why I brought it up because, this we're going to move into our second list that we made. And it's kind of like if Cam was to go to the Patriots, because that's the only job he could, this is not Cam Newton MVP anymore. And because of that, without the weapons, if they do catch the injury bug like they did last year, the Patriots won't be able to overcome a lot of different things. So that's why this list next is top 5 QBs in the league that you think will still come up short no matter what the front office does this offseason. Did you rank this or did you just have 5 guys?
No, I didn't rank it. I had 4, and then the 5th one we'll have to talk about for a second. But I have 4 for sure, and then the 5th one we'll talk about it. So
go ahead and say your 4 real quick.
I put like I say it's not ranked, but I'm just gonna start off with I'll say number 1, Sam Darnold. I mean, come on, man. The Jets are not anything to help dude. I mean, no weapons. Your coach is Adam Gase. Yeah, they need to help Sam Darnold out, man. Like, you can't switch guys. You can't do what if.
Yeah.
But Imagine Sam Darnold being the guy, and I like this guy. Imagine Sam Darnold being the guy instead of Baker Mayfield on Cleveland. I think the view of Cleveland would be so much different if it was Sam Darnold and not Baker, because Sam Darnold's he's viewed as more level-headed, and at the time by some he's considered to have more natural talent than Baker, all that kind of stuff. Baker's considered like a overachiever, so. But Sam Darnold's definitely on the list, man. I want to see the Jets do something for this dude, because even with no Tom Brady, Bills and Dolphins both got better. So Jets may still be in last place. That's crazy.
You're right. Who else you got?
I had to go Kirk Cousins. He lost Stephon Diggs. He lost Stefanski. So, it's coming up. They're going to probably pay Big Dalvin. So once you pay Big Dalvin, that's going to come with your weapons.
That's it.
That you can put around offensively, O-line wise, receiver wise, stuff like that. So I'm not one of those I'm not a Kirk apologist, and I'm not, somebody who kills him either. But Kirk is a good, solid QB, which is most times in the NFL what you want. If you got a guy who can be top 15 perennially and can play like he's top 5 to top 7 from time to time, that's really all you can ask for. I mean, you only going to get so many Russes, Mahomes, and A-Rods.
Right, exactly.
But hopefully Kirk doesn't disappoint you, of course. That's your squad. So, but I had to put Kirk on the list, man. And then a third, I'll say number 3, whoever is the Patriots quarterback will not be set up for success. I don't care who it is. You bring a rookie in, Stidham, Cam. I mean, unless you go get Derek Carr, the New England Patriots QB will not be set up for success just because they won't have time to learn the offense. I mean, it's been considered a complex offense. And even Tom Brady, the great Tom Brady, was struggling with these weapons. You got Edelman getting older, coming off surgery. You're hoping that N'Keal Harry takes a leap.
You hope.
I think the Falcons, at the time I didn't think it, but now the Falcons basically finessed a draft pick for Sanu. You still don't have any tight ends. I mean, you got a committed running back, but I don't see what the QB for New England can do. I mean,
yeah.
So that's going to be, so that's going to be a tough one. This one right here might surprise a lot of people. Deshaun Watson. You traded the man best receiver. You've had spotty O-lines for who knows how many years.
Right.
And then, Bill O'Brien as a coach. I mean, the question marks are there. So hopefully Deshaun Watson can stay healthy, keep on winning 9 to 10 games, stay in the playoff race, because I think he's one of the best QBs we have doing it right now, man. So let's see what Houston does, but hopefully everything pans out for him. And then number 5, I hate to do it, but Tom Brady.
Hey. All right, before we get into that. All right, so let me run through my list real quick. So I put Kirk Cousins on there as well. Have Sam Darnold, both for the same reason that you said. I also threw on Baker Mayfield. And the reason is because I don't know, is it just Cleveland mojo, the juice around it? What is it in Cleveland? But I don't think it matters who they bring in. OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Hooper, Joku, Chubb, Stefanski. I forgot who the offensive coordinator he brought in, but I don't think it matters who he brings in, what tackles they sign. I'm still not sure that Baker Mayfield will still be successful. Like I think he will be better than last year, but at some point, even with all that he got, I think somehow he still may come up short, whether that's because his shortcomings, being, what Colin Cowherd always say, being very immature or something like that. It's like I don't think he's grown up yet, and that could be detrimental for him. So Kirk Cousins, Darnold, Baker. I said Phillip Rivers. I think at this point his arm is gone. He went to a team that he got a better offensive line, but he ain't got no weapons. Like we got Marlon Mack. T.Y. if he's there. That's it. I mean, Jack Doyle. I mean, this is not Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry, 8 games is still better than Jack Doyle for 16. And he don't have Keenan Allen, don't have Mike Williams to go up and throw it up and go get it. They didn't sign no receivers off season. They don't have they traded their first round pick that put them out of contention for a Judy or Ruggs. So it's like, I don't think Phillip Rivers would be successful. And yes, I also have Tom Brady on the list. So you go ahead and explain why.
Yeah, hey, I consider Phillip Rivers as well for the same thing you said. No weapons, pretty much. But I had to put Tom Brady, man, because we saw the story too many times of like guys staying too long. Mm-hmm. And granted, last year with New England, he didn't have the best weapons, so he covered up some mistakes, but there were a few times he made some errant throws himself, and I don't know, man. It's just something about a guy this age coming out of a system he's known the ins and outs of for 20 years. I like Bruce Arians. I mean, you love Godwin. I love Mike Evans, Howard. I mean, I think highly of the Bucs. I like what they put together. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's just that story of we saw this so many times where guys just don't age well, and you can be in a good situation, but you just don't, it just doesn't pop just right. Like Peyton Manning was like 3 great years, then obviously he just went right off the cliff. And then, Joe Montana with, he had a little bit later success, but, it just, at some point, Brett Favre, like at some point, he just kind of goes away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so at some point, he just goes away, man. So I don't want that for Tom Brady, and I hope it doesn't happen. But I have, even with the great weaponry he has, I have some concerns because these guys are not what he's used to, and you won't really have any time to gel and build chemistry with these guys. No OTAs, no training camp. Everything's up in the air right now. All you can do is really watch film, but you don't build camaraderie and chemistry with your locker room and your teammates by watching film. So
right.
I have some questions. I believe in Tom Brady, but I have questions.
I think Tom Brady's success was always predicated around the run. Like Corey Dillon, Michelle, who was the Lawrence Maroney, he always had a good running back who dominated for pretty much parts of the playoffs and throughout the season. I don't think Bruce Arians, as of right now, I know you're a big Rojo fan, but I don't think he has what it takes right now. And as far as running the ball, will Bruce Arians change his game to fit more Tom Brady, or will he try to let Brady be Bruce Arians, like under his system, which is aired out? And I don't know if Mike Evans and Godwin fits what Tom Brady wants to do. That's
exactly it, man. Like like those guys can beat you down the field, and from what I saw, they're both good route runners. So I don't really have concerns about their route running.
Right.
But it's just if Brady has an arm limitation, which naturally is going to happen, mm-hmm. That's going to make your guys have to adjust. And how do guys adjust to that when they haven't worked with him at all before? I mean, they're NFC, he was in the AFC, so they haven't even played in a Pro Bowl together. So I mean, there's no chemistry at all here. So I mean, like I said, that's probably one of the best. Now that Diggs is gone, this is probably the best wide receiver duo. Mm-hmm. But I have questions. I believe in what they can accomplish.
Right.
But I'm not gonna go there as like this is my surprise team, or I think they can make this crazy run or something like that. I'm not willing to go there yet.
I was about to say, I definitely have questions too. We're going to take another quick commercial break and be right back for our last list. All right, we're back. So we got this Michael Jordan documentary coming out, and I kind of think that it was pressed because of LeBron James. I think that's why the reason that is being done is because of LeBron James. I believe that LeBron James' legacy, I want to say, overtake Michael Jordan, but could threaten Michael Jordan as far as legacy around about the game of basketball, and of course more. Like, Michael Jordan has owned a team. His big brand in shoes and stuff like that. So that's when I say that. I think that's why we're getting this, and I'm glad. I'm glad that legacy was able to push Michael Jordan. I think the documentary airs mid-April. I want to say mid-April. 10-part documentary. It's 10 parts, right?
Yeah, it's 10 parts. They're gonna do part 1 and part 2 together, 3 and 4, 5 and 6,
Okay.
7, 8, 9, and 10. So it's gonna be over like a 5-week stretch. They're gonna do parts 1 and 2, April 19th, starting off then.
Okay, so I'm gonna be front and center. We got nothing else to watch, so definitely I'm gonna watch that live. That's gonna be good to watch. It's gonna be all over the all shows, Twitter, Facebook. Everybody's gonna be talking about it. Because we saw RP greatness of Kobe Bryant, about his life and how in depth he was. We saw how LeBron James bring everybody in close, and the same thing for Michael Jordan, but we don't get to see that stuff. So I think that's why this is going to be very, very great for us as fans, us as media people, sports people, to get to see the ins and outs of the true, the what everybody say is the GOAT. And it's like, okay, well, once everybody get to dive in and see the behind the scenes of it, that's going to be the greatness of it, and that's something I can't wait for. So with that, with Bron's legacy questioning or not questioning but threatening Michael Jordan's legacy, Rashad said we got to make a list why LeBron cannot pass Michael Jordan when it comes to basketball legacy, all that included. So I'm gonna let you go first on your list.
Yeah, man. I thought about this one just because of, even though the season's suspended right now, and of course, no matter what LeBron does, or no matter what channel you're turning on, FS1, ESPN, YouTube, I don't care where you go, there's always the inevitable MJ versus LeBron, who's the GOAT. On Twitter, people talk about that crap every freaking day. So I thought about this list because I want to let people know that right now, and probably for the next 20 or so years, as long as we have people like Jalen Rose and Stephen A. Smith, and hopefully you guys live long in 20 years, but as long as guys like that around who saw both in their prime are around, there's no way LeBron can pass MJ. And there are 5 reasons why I think that. So, number 1, MJ's resume. The resume is flawless. LeBron's resume has flaws in it. So, let's talk about MJ's resume. 10-time scoring champion. All NBA, basically every year he was in the league pretty much. Defensive player of the year. Of course, 5 MVPs. I mean, what did this guy do? He was on. I mean, he basically did everything. All-star, represented the league well. The dream team made the league global. Magic and Bird put it on TV. Jordan took that blueprint with his charisma, his clean-cut look, and all that kind of stuff. He took the league global. And that's just something that LeBron can't compete with. His resume is – you can say LeBron might have lost a few MVPs, but he didn't win it.
Right.
I mean, because MJ did the same thing. He could have won some more MVPs, but, you can't just give a guy the award just because he's the best player in the world. So
you could.
So
resume do it.
Yeah. They're not going to do it. So resume for resume – I didn't even bring up the 6 championships, all that kind of stuff, which, you just can't beat that. But all other aspects of all NBA, all defensive team, defensive player of the year, more MVPs, all that kind of stuff. MJ's resume is just flawless, and LeBron's can't compete with. He has MVPs and all that kind of stuff, but some of the other things that Mike accomplished, LeBron did not accomplish that. So that's number 1. Number 2, the big moments and the highlights. LeBron just doesn't have them. Let's start 1991. MJ with the reverse layup. That's in the finals, man. Everybody saw the Ants versus the Lakers. That's a highlight that's been played
Everywhere.
for multiple years. The shot over Craig Elo. You got the pass to John Paxson to secure a championship. The pass to Steve Kerr. I mean, I think one of the biggest ones right here is the steal on Karl Malone. He goes down, sets up the play, crosses over Byron Russell, nails the shot, and holds his pose. But look at the LeBron key moment. He blocks Iguodala, but Kyrie hits the shot. And included in all of that, there's a timeout and everything. So, like, MJ's moment was one singular moment. So, like, when you run a highlight tape, you can just run that. Yeah, you can just run that one moment, that whole clip. But with LeBron's moment, it's a great block, phenomenal block. He also had one against Thiago Splitter. But, like, LeBron just doesn't have those moments, especially, like, in the finals like that, where your legacy pretty much made. Like, Mike's always came in the finals. The 92, the shrug. Like, those moments, you just can't beat those. Like, LeBron has hit great shots and has great stuff.
Right.
But his moments just don't measure up to Mike. So that's number 2. Number 3. This one might be a little bit controversial, but I think you'll get where I'm coming from. The best player in the world crown. Mike never lost his crown. He surrendered it. When he gave up basketball to go to baseball, he didn't get beat in the finals, nothing like that. He didn't not show up and people like stuff like that. He surrendered his crown. It went to Hakeem. He came back, reclaimed his crown, won three more chips.
Yeah.
But when you look at LeBron, guess what? On LeBron's watch, Kevin Durant is the best player in the world. Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the world. Kawhi Leonard is the best player in LA. Steph Curry is the best player in the world. Whether these things have been fair or not, LeBron's crown has always been questioned at certain points. I mean, even with RP Kobe, there were at certain point, who's the best? Kobe or LeBron? Kobe or LeBron? Mm-hmm. Of course, LeBron eventually overtook him, but when you look at just the 2010s, which is really LeBron's decade, there were times his crown has been questioned.
Yeah.
I mean, even as a healthy player, he only been injured one time. As a healthy player, his crown has been questioned. Now you got to put Giannis in that race. Is he the best player in the world? So, as the best player in the world, holding that crown, LeBron has been questioned. So number 4, you just can't erase everybody's memory of the 2011 finals. He came up too small. I mean, I don't hold it against him all the way because he's redeemed himself with other finals. Like what he did in 2015, carrying that team like that, and even 2018, you just carrying his team with the Cavs, stuff like that. He's redeemed himself on multiple occasions, but you just can't erase 2011 from people's minds. And then number 5, shout out to the legend Chauncey Billups. His quote, when it was LeBron's turn, everybody got rings on his watch. When Mike was in the 90s, nobody won rings. He dethroned the Pistons. He didn't let Magic get his 6th. And no other Hall of Famer, not Barkley, not Drexler, not Karl Malone, not Stockton, nobody else in the 90s won rings until Mike surrendered the crown both times. Hakeem's 2, surrendered again. That led the way to the Duncan, Shaq, Kobe 2000. So during the 90s, nobody knocked Mike off his throne. And like Chauncey said, during the 2010s, KD, Kawhi, Steph, all these guys got rings during LeBron's greatest decade. So that's my top 5 right there, man.
Yeah, I'm with you on the undefeated in finals for the Michael Jordan / the LeBron 3-6 record. Like I said, you can pinpoint, and I think that's really pinpointed to, and we talked about it before. I think it's that's my 1. My 2 is that Michael Jordan had the tougher conference, meaning like to get there he had to go through Pistons, he had to go through the Celtics, he had to go through the Cavs at one point. And he had to go through harder things, and I think LeBron coasted to the finals and played a hard team. And I think the Bulls had to fight the Magics to get there as well. And then I think I won't say cruise, but they had a better chance in the finals than they did to get there. And I also want to play the devil's advocate to longevity. We talk about how, your greatness there's like you know, like Tupac could have been the greatest rapper of all time, but he didn't survive long enough. And it's like with Michael Jordan, his legacy versus LeBron. LeBron's gonna play at least 20 years. Michael Jordan had 13 years, but he had gaps in between, and all those 13 years he was great. And not saying LeBron wasn't either, but it's like, okay, LeBron passed him in year 17 versus Michael Jordan. He been coasting, you know. He been there. Like he got there faster than a lot of people. I mean, I know LeBron James is the fastest to get to this and fastest to get to this, of course, but it's like the longevity.
He started faster,
right? Yeah, right. So he started high school, right? So that's one. Another one is Michael Jordan. What is Game 7? Scottie Pippen say it all the time. He's like, we don't do Game 7s, and I think that's a big part on the Bulls themselves because they don't go to 7s. You talk about the Karl Malone one. If you just sit there and just watch that game again, the Jazz should have. Michael Jordan should have been dethroned. Like I'm sorry, it is what it is. The Jazz should have dethroned him twice, and the fact that they blew it, that series they blew because. Why did it is mind blowing that a superstar of Karl Malone's status will forget that Michael Jordan, like he just got past him. He's not going nowhere. Like he was still there. It's real. Going the other way. Like you caused Byron Russell to get pushed off and quote unquote pushed off and get in that frame of Michael Jordan. Like you the reason why you put Byron Russell in that Karl Malone and Karl Malone was working. Like they couldn't stop him, save his life. So Michael Jordan said, doing a signature moment. Go take what's mine, and he took the crown. You know, so I think that what is Game 7 is a reason why that Bron can't pass MJ because Bron had to go to Game 7 with the Celtics to get to the finals. Celtics without Kyrie, he had to go Game 7 to win. Then he go Game 7s to win his championships. Like I want to say not all of them, but. I know against Spurs.
With Warriors and with Spurs. Yeah.
So all of he had to go to Game 7. He can't end it in 6. So you know, and then the biggest thing he pointed to, Michael Jordan ended and stopped dynasties. Like the Magic were coming. Now you can watch the little 30 for 30 for Magic and realize, okay, well Nick Anderson mindset, blah blah. So maybe the Magic could have been the dynasty, and Michael Jordan really ain't stop it at the time. They stopped themselves. And then Michael Jordan kind of like squashed him, and Shaq took off to LA. But it's like every like I said, Bird and Magic, yeah, they were getting older. Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys were there. But when Michael Jordan and Pippen arrived, boom, that's it. You're not doing anything no more. That's it. And from that point on, so the ended and stopped dynasties is probably a reason why because like you talk about with Johnson Billups, everybody got a ring off LeBron and. I mean, even LeBron greatness. I mean, getting there 8 straight times. I would never knock you for getting to the final because if you can't get there, that's worse in my opinion. I don't care what the records say. So because I can do records by round if you want to. So LeBron first, second, and third round flawless. You know what I mean? So it is what
exactly.
It is. Yeah. So yeah, those that would be my 5. I think that what is Game 7 is huge in my opinion. But you know, getting to Michael Jordan versus LeBron. Takes longer than the time we have remaining, but it's like it's gonna be a good doc to see everybody focus on Michael Jordan and what he's done behind the scenes and what he was like behind the scenes. So I'm definitely excited for that.
Yeah, they're definitely 1 and 2 best of all time, man. But I don't think LeBron. Of course, over time he can probably pass Mike. You know, based upon once younger people become the older people, they'll be like, yeah. So, but as far as long as certain people are around and can tell the Mike stories and tell the Mike legacy, LeBron can't pass him.
And this will tell it all. So I think that's why it's a great time to do it. Oh, LeBron is this. Oh, here go the documentary of why I was so great. And now the debate's gonna keep going. So that's it, man. We got less than a minute left. The Prophets, man. We are back next Thursday, same time, same place. I got Preaching to the Choir coming out again. I got Pittsburgh on the docket. We're going to head to San Francisco. We're going to talk about the Saints and going to talk about my Vikings all in the next coming 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that. Just did the Cowboys yesterday. It's on my Twitter, so go look at that. Rashad, anything you got to say before we get out?
Man, I would love for it to be WrestleMania season, but ain't gonna be no fans out there, man.
I can't watch it. I can't watch it. I can't watch it without the without the fans. So WrestleMania, I'm sorry. Yeah, next year, I'll be there.
Hey man, shout out Chris Jericho, aka we're gonna call this one. You just made the list.
You just made the list. All right, man. Appreciate it. We're Rashad. We out.